Hi guys, welcome back to another edition of It's So Fluffy Nails. And if you can see here that I have a screenshot of Gilmore Girls from my iPad. Gilmore Girls is one of my favorite TV shows growing up. I loved it when it was on air. I loved it when it came out on DVD. I loved it when it came out on Apple iTunes. I loved it when it came out on Netflix, and I'm loving the possibility that they're possibly releasing a movie in the near future. Who knows if that's ever going to happen. But I thought today would be a fun time to bring together my passion for Gilmore Girls with my passion for Chanel nail polish. So I've picked a couple of colors that I think represent our Gilmore Girls and the other female actresses that come up in the show. And here are my picks. So if you guys want to make a game out of this, go ahead and pause right now and do your matching. And if not, we're going to continue right now. So the first person that I feel like we need to address has to be Lorelai Victoria Gilmore, to be specific. She's the mother to Rory. She came from a very wealthy family and had Rory when she was 16, so she had to grow up pretty quickly. But I think that the way that the show presents Lorelai is that she has a lot of training, a lot of knowledge from her life of privilege as a child. But since she left when she was so young, she still retains a lot of that childlike innocence and just kind of that fun side that you expect from a young teenage girl, but in an adult form. So the colors that I picked for Lorelai are actually, my number one choice is pirate. And the reason for that is because in one of the episodes, Lorelai actually asked her father to go look for a pair of Chanel pirate boots behind a bookcase while he's getting something else for Rory. And I think this is a perfect color for Lorelai. She's a businesswoman. She's educated. She knows, she's smart. She's just a very striking character. So I think that the pirate red fits her beautifully. And I think that another color that actually works for Lorelai is something sparkly. I think you cannot think of Lorelai without thinking of something fun and sparkly and rocker chic-ish. So I think Gondola is a great choice. It has a lot of sparkle and shimmer. It's a really fun color to wear. So yep, these are my choices for Lorelai. Next up, I think that we need to, of course, go to Rory. She is Lorelai Lee Gilmore, and Rory is kind of like the balance and the counter to Lorelai. She's got, of course, like the girly innocence, because in this series, she really is a young girl growing up and going through high school and eventually on to Yale. And we follow her while she kind of transitions and she blossoms from this very shy, innocent girl to somebody who's just a little bit more assertive. And you can see how she's kind of written into something more like her own mother in the later seasons. So that's why I thought two colors was good. And of course, I think Rory as a child would have been influenced by her mother. So something like Gondola when she was a child is great. But I think classic Rory deserves Ballerina. Ballerina is just a very pale blush pink, and something that you can almost, it's on your nails, but it just looks very natural. And that's how I see Rory as a young girl. Later on, when she kind of branches out, she's had some boyfriends, especially once Logan hits the scene. I think Rouge number 19 is a great choice for Rory because it's still sweet. It's a version of pink, but it's a little bit more bold than the classic Ballerina. So those are my choices for Rory. So moving on, anybody can guess ahead of time. This is actually Peach Nacre, and this is my choice for Sookie. Sookie St. James is a chef, and to be honest, I couldn't really pick a color for her because when I think of Sookie St. James, I think she's a professional chef. She would not dare to put nail polish on her nails and risk having any chipped nail polish get into the food because she takes such pride in in her work as a chef, and it's not even work for her. I think they really portray her as an artist of food, and as she says, she's better than Alain Ducasse. But I think that in instances where Sookie goes to like fancy events, like a wedding, I think Peach McRae is perfect. She has like a very peachy skin tone. Actually, that is I think Melissa McCarthy that has that peachy skin tone. But I think her character of Sookie St. James would love to have something that's a little bit more bold than a pale pink, but it's still very feminine and classy, but a little bit fun. So a peach color for Sookie St. James. Up next has to be Lavanda. And Lavanda is my choice for Lane Kim. And the reason why I have to pick Lavanda for Lane Kim is, well, number one, she's this awesome rocker chick. She's that drummer in the band. So this is a very bold color for somebody who's playing in a rock band. But also there was the episode where Lane Kim decides to go and rebel, and she's so tired of living under these rules that her mother has for her. She just has to go out there and dye her hair. And then her and Rory go to the beauty store and they pick out a hair dye, and this bright purple is the color that they come out with. And in the end, spoiler, it's not her final color, but she ends up with the dyed hair. But I think that when her mother's not looking as a child, and even as an adult, I think Lane Kim would pick this bright purple polish. Coming up next, Taboo. And when you think Taboo, I think it is almost synonymous with the character of Miss Patty. Miss Patty was like this huge star back in her day, and she was in show business. So she's just got so many glittery costumes. She's always the person that's training all the young kids of Stars Hollow to put on shows and do dance. There's glitter and sequins all over these episodes when Miss Patty is involved. So I think Taboo is perfect. It's got so much strong like blue and purple glittery shimmer. And I think Taboo is the perfect color to describe Miss Patty. Finally, moving on to, if you can believe it, this is Babette. Babette is the kooky neighbor of Lorelai and Rory as Rory is growing up, and she doesn't appear in too many episodes, but she's always there as a sidekick to Miss Patty. She loves to garden and she loves her gnomes. So I think that Frasier is a great match to to Babette, because it's kind of got that spring green. It's a little bit of an iridescent shimmer, but it's still very subtle. And she's just this very loving neighbor who cares so much about everybody around her, and especially for her cats and her husband Maury. But she's just a nurturer with a lot to give, and I think that a spring green represents her very well. Let's see if this can focus, or if it's confused by the white. Oh no, I think it's confused by the white. So let's put this on the side. There. So the last two characters that I thought we should address were, of course, Emily Gilmore and Paris Geller. And I think that both these ladies are super, super strong supporting characters, and each of them comes into Rory's life at the right moments to really challenge her or support her in a way that kind of brings her to a new level of a character. And the reason why I'm choosing Eastern Light for both of them is not because they'd actually wear this on their whole fingers. And when I'm thinking about Paris Geller and I'm thinking about Emily Gilmore, I honestly think that neither of them is going to come anywhere with a full polish, like as in a fully polished nail. I think that both of these ladies would actually prefer something like a French manicure, and so that's why I've chosen this white just for the tips. If Paris were even going to use any nail polish at all, because she's also training to be like a surgeon, the doctor, the lawyer. She wants to be a judge. She wants to rule the world. So I actually don't think Paris has tons of time for doing manicures, but if she were, I think she'd choose something classy like the French manicure along with Emily Gilmore. So there you have it. That's my quick rundown. So if you have any other suggestions for what you think that these characters might actually choose for themselves, or if you want to